Good morning. Good morning, everybody. This is Dr. William Clark. I'm happy to be with you again. We just wrapped up a series of blabs talking about leader development in your local church. And it was a fascinating discussion as we walked through this mini book. As I shared with many of you, I've started writing a mini book series on leadership and strategy topics. And the impetus for writing these mini books was to make sure each of you had access to resources that were quick and easy to read, short and to the point. I've read many books on leadership where the book was 300 pages, and granted, the people who wrote the books provided good information, good content. But there were many times where I walked away and felt like I could have just got what I needed if they just pared it down a bit. And I think, from an academic standpoint, there's value and there's reason why many authors write that length. And certainly I could write uh, that type of book and have in the past. But as I think about people who are looking for leadership guidance and coaching and information to make strong decisions in their leadership, I just thought it would be helpful just to write a series of mini books that are just to the point and combined together offer a depth of academic knowledge and practical knowledge that can be used to coach anybody through their leadership challenges. If you wanted to get your copy of this book, Leader Development in Your Church, you can go to williampclark.com and you can click on the book cover there. When you read the description, below the description, I tell you how to get your free copy. I am more than willing and happy to give this book away for free. If you want to pay for it, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to fight you. You can go ahead and do it. But if you want to get your free copy, I'll tell you how to get your free copy. And it's yours. And once you get your free copy, or if you pay for it, share it with family and friends, people you think could benefit from the content. I don't plan to be on Blab long this morning, but I wanted to just do a quick leadership minute. I covered the entire book already, so if you want to replay what I talked about leadership development in your church, you can go through my Blab history. But I just thought it would be nice to come back and just reiterate some key points for you as you walk into the office this morning, whether it's your church, your nonprofit. It's important for you to have some sense of ownership of your leadership and have some sense of connection to how you're going to grow today as a leader. What I talk about in the book and what I'll talk about in all of my books and my articles is that leadership is the process of encouraging and influencing others to achieve a common goal. Now, many people have their own definition of leadership. They provide examples of what they think leadership means. But simply put, leadership is the process of influencing others to achieve a common goal. I read a lot of Norhouse's writings on leadership. He has written several books on several theories of leadership. And I encourage you to get that book on leadership. But that is the basic, most simplest definition: influencing people to achieve a common goal. As you walk into the office today and you start to think about, how am I going to be better as a leader? There are many things many people will tell you, but one of the things I would encourage you to think about as you think of how you're going to improve your leadership is, how are you going to influence people better today than you did yesterday? Now, the challenge with influencing people is you want to make sure you do it in a way that's smart, that makes sense, that's contextualized for your organization, and that makes sense and contextualized for the individual or individuals you are leading. To influence people, you have to know them in an intimate way. You got to be able to connect with them in a way that just makes sense, right? And if you're not able to connect with people, you will not be able to influence people. If you don't connect with your children, you won't be able to influence them. If you don't connect with your spouse, you won't be able to influence them. Think about yourself. If people don't connect with you, they don't influence you to achieve any particular goal that matters to you or to the organization at large. And if that's true for you as a follower, if it's true for your kids or true for your spouse, then it's true in the workplace as well. It is all about influencing people to achieve a common goal that will benefit them and the organization. one of the things I stressed in my previous videos is that some people question whether they can be born a leader, and if they don't have those traits that others have as leaders, then they should be questioning whether they are leaders or not. And I will tell you this: leaders are made; they're not born. Now, when we talk about the process of leadership, when we talk about what leadership is, not once in the definition that I provided does it say or imply that you have to be born with the ability to influence people. Our ability to influence people is learned, and is learned because one, when you as a leader learn to influence people, you're learning about a person. You're learning what interests them. You're learning what captures their attention. And that information you don't know about people until you meet them for the first time or you're introduced to them for the first time. And it's not built up or developed until you have a relationship with that person over a period of time. So if people are different from one organization to the next, or if they're different from one relationship to the next, it's difficult to say that I'm born with natural skill sets to influence people. Now, you can give me some examples of what it means to walk into a room and someone has energy that is attractive to a group of people, and they just want to follow them. I get that. I totally understand that. But if you're talking about consistent leadership that is effective and useful over a period of time and across multiple people groups, it is more than just having a certain energy when you walk into a room. It has to be more than that. And it is the ability to influence people based upon what you learn about them and finding ways to connect with them. Since I did this Blab series on leader development in your church, I'll give this example. And for those of you who are jumping on, I did a 4-part series on a mini book I wrote, Leadership Development in Your Church. And you can go to williampclark.com and get your free copy there. One of the things I'll share with you when a couple of buddies of mine were doing outreach ministry, we were concerned about making sure we were effective in what we did. And we wanted to make sure that we had the greatest impact in the time allotted to us, which was not long, but it was okay because we did not want to prolong what we thought would be effective ministry beyond the time that was allotted to us. And as we spent 4 to 5 years building that outreach ministry, we got really good at delivering the services that we wanted to deliver within the 1 hour. And what we learned during that period of time is that to have the greatest impact, to have the most impactful influence on people, we needed to have a connection point with the people we were ministering to. Now, it was three of us, me and 2 other guys. We all had different life stories, and there was a few things that overlapped about us, but we all had different life stories. Each and every one of us was able to connect in a unique way with everybody in the room. Whether it was, what I went through from a business standpoint, losing a lot of my resources and how that impacted me personally, and how that can have an impact on any person, any provider of a family, and any person who has dreams and visions and you lose everything. Whether another buddy of mine went into the military or armed services and how that impacted him and what that meant for him and his family, versus another buddy of mine who moved from one place to the next and had much stability that he could follow with. We all had a story that was able to connect with people. And as people saw themselves in the stories that we shared, we steadily and consistently gained influence with those people. So if we spoke, they would listen. If we spoke, they would trust us. And the point of sharing that story is that as you go into the office today, as you go into a new environment today, and you're looking to improve your leadership today, you have to learn how to influence people. And it begins with listening to people and understanding their story, understanding what they're going through. And I'm not suggesting, and nor do I recommend, it's all about the personal life of an individual. Some people don't feel comfortable sharing that information, and it's okay. Some people do. But when we talk about listening to someone's story and understanding what they're going through, what I'm talking about is understanding what they're going through at that moment at work. Because sometimes as leaders, as managers, as supervisors, as people with titles, we can come off as know-it-alls to the people that we're trying to influence. And even if you don't feel that way, even if you're not trying to be perceived that way, you can be perceived as a know-it-all, regardless of how you're trying not to be perceived. And one of the ways you disarm that thought is by spending time with people, asking them what's going on, what are they experiencing, how is that impacting their work, what can you do to help. That's it, right? And it's a listening game. It's all about listening so that you can figure out where to fit in. As a leader, you got to be comfortable knowing that you don't have the answer to everything. Sometimes it's a the answer to the question or the answer to the issue is, well, let's work through that together because I don't know how to figure that out. Or let's bring this person in. Or, where's your comfort level with getting some coaching or training? So those are conversations that you have to be comfortable having with the team. And as you have those conversations with your team, as you start to figure out what's going on with them at work, you slowly become the leader that you want to become, which is having the influence to encourage somebody to work towards a goal that benefits them and the organization. That's what it comes down to. I think that you can do it. Yeah, I've seen it done, whether it's in my own leadership or in the leadership of the others that I've coached. You can do it. Now, you may have to undo some bad habits. You may have to rethink some of the things that you thought were normal when it comes to leading. Some of you have to change your attitude. Some of you think that the more you yell, the more you try to control people, the better leader you are. We probably need to rethink that definition because it doesn't get us far. What it may get you is an immediate reaction because people want you to stop yelling, but it doesn't get you a consistent allegiance to the vision of the organization. And that's what you're working for as a leader. You want people to get behind the vision. You want people to get behind you as you provide direction and alignment. That's what it comes down to. And if you're not getting it on a consistent basis without you yelling, without you being mean, without you being disrespectful or mistreating people, you got to really take a step back and rethink your leadership approach. I hope this helps. I hope this leadership minute was helpful to you, and I hope that you start to figure out some things with your leadership. Join me on Blab as we continue to have leadership conversations. I have more leadership conversations coming up, developing some good content and topics to discuss with me and a couple of colleagues of mine. From time to time, I'll be on both like I am now, doing these quick leadership minutes or just talking about some of the mini books that I am writing or have written, and having conversations with you about what it means to continue to develop your leadership. And I'll tell you this, one of our books that we're working on now, personal leadership. I haven't gotten the title down yet. Personal leadership or self-leadership is one of my favorite, if not the favorite leadership theory that I connect with. And what it talks about is how do you grow your personal leadership? How do you grow your ability to influence yourself to achieve the goals that matter to you? And it's about self-influence. And it does not mean you're rogue. It does not mean you go off the beaten path and do everything on your own. Rather, it talks about how to intrinsically inspire yourself to continue to achieve a set of goals, even when you don't have a coach in your ear coaching you to do this, even when your mentor is unavailable. It takes a lot of guts and gumption and effort and strength to encourage yourself consistently to work towards goals that are important for you to achieve. So we'll be talking about that some more. I believe as I do more of these shows, the next mini book I'm going to cover is leadership development in your nonprofit. There's some interesting nuggets in there. Definitely want to share with you that I think will be helpful. So stay tuned to the Blab channel. Stay tuned to YouTube and all the other platforms that we're broadcasting on. And I look forward to discussing leadership with each and every one of you. Have a great day. Have a great morning. Continue to build on your leadership and make sure your leadership makes sense for your context. God bless you, everybody.